Welcome everyone to my first video on Spencer TCG. It's me, Spencer. I've always liked using my name. I don't know why, but here we are. This is going to be a Shadowverse video. I promised to make one on the Facebook channel for the Shadowverse page. I did win a championship with this deck. There's only 15 people, but it was a pretty good showing, and I just want to go over the deck. For the future, I plan on making Star Wars Unlimited videos and some other games, but do stay tuned for some Star Wars Unlimited videos coming up this week. All right, so we played Rune, and we played Chess Rune. I am a Rune enjoyer. I played at Worlds, the Burn Rune deck, and I thought I meme a little bit at the championship with the Chess Rune deck, but it actually turned out to be a lot better than just a meme. So let's go over the pieces of the deck. You guys like that one? All right. So we played Magical Rook, and we do play 3 of every chess piece. There's only 5 copies. This guy says if there's a pawn in your EX area, give him +1 and ward, so it becomes a 2/3 taunter, a warder in this game. Very, very big body for 1. You can also feel fine about just playing this guy as a 1 mana 2/2. Just think to yourself, if you're fine casting a magical strategy as a 1 mana 2/1, then why would you not be fine playing a 1 mana 2/2? Right? You don't always need to hit this guy's ability. He is a nice guy. All right, so play this guy on turn 1 if you don't have another turn 1 play. The next chess piece we play is Magical Bishop. All right, he puts a pawn into your EX area. You'll see a reoccurring theme here about magical pawns, whether you're summoning them, pumping them, or swinging with them. And at the end of the phase, at the end turn, you deal 1 damage to their face and you heal 1. This guy is actually so pog. Like, he's so strong. You never really swing with this guy until the very end of the game, and they have to waste a premium removal on him for the most part. Decks these days aren't really running cheap 1 mana removal spells, so they're wasting like a very strong 3 mana, 4 mana card to deal with it, and which usually means they just aren't dealing with it, right? Because who's going to waste that on my Magical Bishop? So this card is very strong, and it just chips them away throughout the game. The next chess piece, and you can see as they go 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana. All right, we put the Magical Knight. This guy's pretty basic. He's a 3/3. He's probably the worst one, but he's very good when summoned with a king. He just buffs everyone that you summon by 1. His evolve form is a 4/4 that summons a 2/1. Again, kind of mediocre, but we got to play him. We need as many chess pieces as I can for the king, which is coming up. And here is the queen, lovely queen. I do think the queen should have more stats, as the queen is the strongest chess piece, but whatever. Her ability is very good. She summons a pawn token on the field and your EX area, and her evolve is crazy. Just crazy. And we'll get to that in a second. And finally, the king, which for some reason is a 5/5, whatever. Shouldn't be that big, but that's okay. He has Evo for 2, and his evolved form is what carries this deck. Otherwise, his ability is once per turn, you can tribute or destroy one of your own chess dudes and deal 5 damage. And he can only do that once, even if you evolve him. And why is the king so good? Well, if we look at his evolve form, on evolve, select up to 4 chess guys in your grave with 4 play points or less, which are all of them besides him, and summon them. That's crazy, right? On 7 mana going second, you can have 5 guys on the field, and they all see each other. So the knight pumps all of them up, right? The queen, if you have room, summons them. You can see your EX area. The rook will trigger if you have that pawn that you just summoned from the queen, right? And the bishop is gonna give you a pawn too. So there's a lot of ways for this rook to trigger once we summon our king. And yeah, that is how the deck wins, right? By summoning king and then being like, I have 5 guys. What are you gonna do? Now, how does the deck make it there? Right, so we have a lot of pieces that help us make it there. We have Bellringer Angel, of course, we play 3 of. Sadly, we don't have any room for the Evolve form, but we do play 3 Bellringer. It's a good cycle, thins our deck. And then we play a crap ton of spells. So we have 1 Barrage, 1 Snipe. Let's talk about the 1-ups. 1 Fire Chain, 1 Make Some Noise, 1 Rime Wind, 1 Surefire Bolt, 1 Fate's Hand, and 1 Execution. So why do we play so many one-ofs when people say, less consistent? It's because we're playing Merlin and Agnes. It's a toolbox. Merlin lets us search for all these spells that have various needs, and Agnes lets us recur them. So adding all this variety to our deck can really help with certain matchups. For example, Rhymewind, a pretty mediocre card, but against Uma, it bounces their 6-drop that kills you. And I don't know about you, but I like spending 2 mana to deal with 10 damage and ruining their game. Execution also, very. I would say nowadays it's a pretty poor rate. I think ideally we'd want to be doing an effect like this for 3 mana, but we need it to kill Leonidas, right? We need to kill the aura that comes out after Leonidas. Otherwise, we have a really, really hard time against Sword. But if we execute it on curve when they play their Leonidas Resolve, we are totally fine. And we only have 1 execution, but we really are playing 3, right? So against Sword, our Merlins can make sure they're looking for the execution, which is what I did in the finals and helped me secure the win. And then let's talk about our 3 of spells. So we're playing 3 Blitz, 3 Magical Strategy, and 3 Check. These are the chess cards, so obviously we're playing 3 of all of them, because why are we playing chess? We're not playing all the chess cards. This card is actually surprisingly good. Just a 1 mana 2/1 is pretty good when your whole deck is just a bunch of removal. You get to just keep smacking them in the face for 2, and you'd be surprised how long a 2/1 can live on your board. Another really good card is Blitz. This card very, very actively does 3 damage. There's so many ways to summon pawns. So we do the initial 2 and then +1 for every pawn. And this card very, very frequently does more than 2. I did make it do 5. And 5 damage for 1 mana. Feels like we're playing Sword. We're cheating, right? It's a good card. And finally, we play 3 Check. I thought this card was kind of expensive to only deal 4. But 4 damage actually felt like it was enough most of the game time. And I'm sad that it only looks at the top 3 cards of your deck. Lucky for me, I never whiffed. I never missed with the Chuck card, but 3 is a little spooky. But yeah, the ability to kill something and draw a card is very strong, especially if you search this card off Merlin. Like, think of all this value. 1 card getting us 1 card, that got us another card, that killed your card. And I've really only played Merlin to do all these things. So very, very strong. And yes, that is the deck. If you're wondering why I only played 2 Merlin, I think this card at 3 sometimes feels a little clunky, but I do think if you really, 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 really like Merlin, you could find room for a 3rd one. Maybe you cut Fate's Hand, which is just a tech card that I like running with Merlin for insane value in the late game. But you could definitely cut a Fate's Hand for a 3rd Merlin if you have 3 and just want to run with it. Let's talk about the Evo deck. So we're playing 2 of all the chess pieces. So like I said, the Magical Knight just summons you out a magical pawn, and of course buffs it. So it's a 4/4 to 3/1. It's just okay. The card never felt too special. People are scared of it though, because they're like, "Oh, your board's getting buffed," But nothing in this deck has haste or rush. Storm is what they call it. So buffing your guys and then not attacking with them is like, it's whatever. They just get removed anyway. Queen is very strong. Like, I really wish I played a 3rd one sometimes, because King does revive them. But I never needed a 3rd one. But in my head, I just was like, I feel like I might need a 3rd queen this game, but I never did, so it's okay. But yeah, she comes out and she's insane because she just deals damage equal to the number of chess followers. But because her previous self summons them, she can very easily do 3, 4, 5 damage, which I think is pretty good for a 1 mana evolve. And then of course we play the king, which we've already talked about, just summoning out your board. We only play 1 Merlin, because Merlin costs 3 and 2 to evolve. That's 5 total mana to get out this Merlin, and that's a lot of mana just to play a spell. Like, it is insane value, don't get me wrong, but it is a lot of mana. So we only play 1. It doesn't happen as much as you think. Usually we're playing Merlin on curve, and they usually kill it because it only has 2 defense, sadly. But then we're like, why do we play 3 Agnes? We're playing 2/1 here. We're playing 3/3. That's because, Merlin, pretty good at its base. Draws you a card, right? Agnes at its base does absolutely nothing. You need to be playing other cards with it to make it good. Well, how do I get those other cards? Oh, by evolving it, right? For 3 total mana instead of 5, we get 3/3, and we get to draw a card, right? Where this is a 4/3, and play a card, and also your base drew a card, right? But it is 2 mana more expensive to do that, and this is very cheap. So we do want 3 Agnes, and there were 3 matches, 3, right? There were 3 matches where I evolved Agnes all 3 times. So very important to have the third one. The base form is just, a little bit too much do nothing for me. Obviously, a neg 1 is good, but you need to play other cards. And if I'm playing this card on curve, I'm not playing other cards, right? But if I'm evolving on curve, I've already gained the value back. And if they kill my Agnes, it's fine. I gained my value, right? That's why if they kill my Merlin after I played, it's fine. Sure to gain the value. So all these things are fine. And that is the deck. Hopefully I went over everything. If you have questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. But I'm going to talk about the matchups. So I had a buy round 1, got pretty lucky. I was actually really bummed. I wanted to play this deck because it was just so fun. So I just walked around, watched other people, and noticed there were like pretty much everyone there was playing Sword and Forest. There was one other Rune player playing Dimension Shift, and there was one Uma player. In round 2, we played against Forest, and I actually really like Forest. It was the deck that I won my Open with during Season 1. So Forest and Rune are my 2 decks. So I was excited to see how the new Forest deck was playing. And I noticed they're playing, very, I would say, low to the ground value-esque. Then with this Beauty and the Beast like game finisher, right? That's the new Forest deck. This deck does pretty good against that. We have lots of removal for the early game stuff, and we go really wide. Luckily for us, no one is running Angelic Barrage in their deck. So it's really hard for them to deal with our 2/1s. They have to waste premium removal if they want to get rid of our 2/1s, right? They have to use their 3 mana guy that removes fake counters, spends mana to kill our stuff, right? That's premium removal, and they're spending it on crappy little 2/1 tokens that I have infinite numbers of. And because of that, Forest is not happy. Sometimes they play May, which does make the matchup considerably harder, but we do have more than just 2/1s, and it's very easy for us to kill their May if they leave it on the field. But if they don't have May and they're not bouncing it over and over, then this matchup is pretty easy. People might say, how do we deal with Beauty and the Beast though when it's so big? That's not really the problem. It's more how do they deal with our cards? Like they're playing Beauty and the Beast around the same time we're casting King, and one big guy opposed to like 5 decently sized guys. I'd rather take the 5 decently sized guys. They just cannot deal with five guys, especially when you're just presenting dudes throughout the entire game, right? Like turn 1, 2/1, turn 2, bishop, turn 3, knight. Are you killing my knight? Okay, you killed my knight. Turn 4, queen. Let's evolve the queen. Let's kill a dude. All right, like how did you deal with my 2-drop? How did you deal with my 1-drop? Like Forest ain't doing that. They're playing an aura turn 1. They're bouncing their aura. You're playing a guy, killing their guy. Like they're not having a good time. And the matchup's pretty good. Round 3, I played against Uma, which I think is a close matchup, but I think we should get there by playing King. I didn't draw King in my Uma matchup, so sadly I lost, but we were in a top deck battle. So I think just top decking against Uma and getting there is pretty impressive for this deck that I thought was a meme. And if we just drew the King at any point in the game, we win the game. We just summoned 5 guys, and Uma cannot answer that. At one point, he thought he had game, but with Rime Wind, I bounced a 6-drop, and it was just really hard for him from that point on. He was able to get there eventually by accumulating enough cards to play the 6-drop again, and just dealing 3 to my board every turn. That was just too much for me when I could not see the king, and put out a little bit bigger guys and rush it down was really the problem. I didn't have any way to attack it back. So we did lose that in a very close match. So then I was 2-1, and in the last round, I played against Forest again, and pretty much the same thing happened. It was just hard for him to do anything. I resolved King, and the game ended. After that, we walked into top 8, where I played yet another Forest player who, this was my toughest one, I think, but it still wasn't very close. I think I lived at like 13 or something. Again, just this guy had a little bit better of a start, but it was just very hard for him to deal with my field. And then we get into top 4 and the finals, and they were both sword players. The first sword player drew so weird. Not really his heroic cards, but like all of his aggression. And he resolved a Leonidas, and I didn't draw execute. So we had a tough, long game. Actually, it was really weird. I like dealt with all his aggression, thought I was fine, but then when you draw one card that summons 2/5/5s for 3-4 turns in a row, it gets tough. But eventually, I outvalued him, and I think we lived. It was still above 10 health, which is again is pretty good against sword. Which is with king. With the first king, we did need to draw 2 kings though. We evolved king twice, and with that second evolve, was all she wrote. And in the finals, again, this one wasn't as tough, I'd say, but only because I played Merlin on curve when he had no board. He did let me go first. I played Merlin on curve when he had no board, and I got the execute. So when he played the Leonidas, it wasn't really as threatening as I was able to remove it, and that game was much, much easier. Going first or second, I think is the last thing I really want to talk about. I think you're fine doing either. It's really about what the other deck wants. I would say don't let the forest deck go second, is personally my opinion. I think forest just operates way better at second. They have a lot of EOs for 1, and I just wouldn't let them do that. Also, our EVOs for 1 are very, very good. Like Magical Knight, mediocre, but on turn 3, if you're summoning a 4/4 with a 3/1, that's actually pretty good. Pretty good against forest. Against sword, I don't think you mind either first or second. I'd say the sword player wants to go second, and you should just let them. Because if you resolve like a 2/1 or a 2/2 turn 1, and then you just remove all their cards every turn, they're gonna they're gonna take a lot of damage, and there becomes a point where you're the aggressor, and they need to be dealing with your board, which is not where the sword player wants to do. They don't want to look at their storm card and be like, "Am I really trading here?" So that's the position we put them in. Yeah. Otherwise, I say this deck operates fine going first, and but you just don't really want Forest to go second. You don't want to give that to them. So otherwise, I would pick first with the deck. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions about anything I said or don't agree or you do agree, just let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to chat with you guys. And yeah, stay tuned. If you guys are Star Wars believers, I'm going to be making some sealed videos about them, just going over the cards and what I think you guys should be trying to build when you make your pre-release sealed decks. And yeah, that's all I got, guys. Peace. Where's the fingers? There it is. Peace.